Working on today is this alternator bracket. Right now it's just sitting in place with one bolt. That one bolt is this one here. It goes through the water pump, and I'm going to need to cut off this lower part of this thing down here. And it's a little wobbly, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to come with a piece of metal off of this that will go right to this manifold bolt, and then I can get a little longer manifold bolt and put in there and tie this to that, and in the process I can push this out just a little, about like that would be perfect. What that does is that gives me a good alignment with everything out here. So I need roughly about, depending on how long to go, but about, I need about almost a ½ inch between the edge of that bolt washer and the thing here. Now I thought about using a piece of metal, like maybe that piece of metal that I cut off down here and putting it up here, but then I got to remembering I've got a lot of wrenches on this that I used to make stuff out of, and I've got a bag full of old tools over here that are not of any value. And I woke up this morning thinking, what if I could find a cool old tool that I could use for that? I thought, oh, let's see what we got. So here's one. That looks like it's almost made for something. Maybe a good tool. I know that's a good tool because I made that one. That's the other end of that one. I made those two for a purpose. Maybe these aren't my junk tools. Maybe these are my good tools. Now that would be a cool one to put on there. What is that? I didn't bring my glasses out. But see if that that's not in the right place. That's actually a 9/16 wrench. Probably ought to keep that one. Put it up on the wall somewhere. Use it for something. So, I don't want to use that. So let's take a quick look. I think I bent this one specifically for something like, maybe these aren't my junk tools. Maybe these are my tools that I set aside for special need. Like I think that one was to loosen the distributor bolt. Wonder if I got another bag of junk tools. You never know about me. I got stuffage. I got some stuffage. Use this one right here, which says it is drop forged China. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. If I took that one and I put it right here, it would almost, like if I straighten this little bend in the end, it would almost sit. I need it to also continue to hold this down. I could almost set it up where it would sit right there, and then I could do a little spot weld underneath the bottom of it out here. Let's ease this bolt out. Oh, and just take a look at it. Let's see. I think I got a handy dandy little 9/16 right here in front of me. Oh. So I could take and bend this one a bit and then attach it. I might stick something in here to push that out while I'm while I'm looking at this. Sort of push it out, hold it in place. So here's what I'm going to do for starters. This bolt will go down into that manifold, and I'm going to weld this bolt to the top of it. This bolt will allow me to attach something to it that I can use to brace up the top of the alternator with and put a nut on it. Now when I weld this, I'm going to destroy the edges, which is going to make it really hard to get that in and out. But what I can do is screw a bolt down on here and lock it. I can use this to put this in and hopefully to take it out when the time ever comes to do that. So what I'm going to do, and the vise is holding both these bolts, is I'm going to weld this side. And I'll pull it out and flip it and weld the other side. Try to get this to be fairly neat. You know, it's always a bit of a toss-up when you're welding something that small with an arc welder. But I have made it work before. I believe I can make it work again. Get a little fire going here. And I get something to cover my eyeballs with. Sometimes a little welding at a time is good. Things tend to warp out of shape and stuff if you get them too high. So I'm going to let this cool. I read or heard somewhere that you'll have a stronger weld if you don't pour water on it to cool it down. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that, so I'll go with it. I'm not going to pour any water on it. I'm going to let it cool itself down. And then what I'm going to do is screw it back in here, and I'm going to put a bolt. I can't, it's too hot to touch right now, but I'm going to put a nut on that. Here's one right here. And I can do that while it's hot and while I don't touch it. Oh, the joy. If I can get it started without too much drama. Careful, fingers, careful. And then put it on there with a little socket thing. I should be able to screw that down into that manifold bolt once it cools off. And then we'll see what I can find to put on that to make that work. Oh, the joy. So I'll go in the house while that's cooling off for a second or two and hang out with the pretty woman that lives in there a little bit, and I'll come back. In the meantime, I'll put some of these tools away so that they won't be in the way. Oh, the joy.